Hey guys, and welcome to the Shaman King deck profile. And before I get into it, I want to tell you guys that this was one of my favorite Yubel decks to do, even though it's not really a Yubel deck. It's mainly based on Doom Shaman, but Doom Shaman is one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And, you know, he deserves more credit. Like, what, 10 cents for him? Nah, no, more than that. He should be like $5. No, not that much. But Doom Shaman is definitely one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I'm glad that I got to do a deck just for him. I know you guys were saying that Yubel story was the Shaman story deck because the deck synchroed a lot in some of Doom Shaman, so I was like, you know what, forget it. Doom Shaman has earned his own deck, so I decided to, instead of Giga Shaman, which turned out horribly, decided to give Doom Shaman his own name. Now, the reason why the deck is called Shaman King and why the image has a picture of Shaman King on it is because I was planning on doing this deck, and then I was like, well, I need a thumbnail, so I searched up Doom Shaman, and of course you'd always get like the generic pictures, nothing like too out of the ordinary, because he's not a very popular card. So as you continue to search, the searches got more and more vague. Eventually I ran across a picture of Shaman King, and I'm like, you know what, why not name the deck Shaman King, because I really didn't know what to name the deck. So I was like, okay, let's name it Shaman King. Let's name it after an anime that I've never watched. So, just grabbed a picture of Shaman King and slapped that on there. It's like, yep, this deck is called Shaman King, which fits. So we're just going to jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this deck as much as I did. You'll probably see more of this deck as Season 5 progresses, because, like I said, it's one of my favorite decks. So, of course, we got two Doom Shaman. The reason why I like to run two Doom Shaman is because since he's the main guy of the deck, I need to get at least one of them to the graveyard immediately. So it'll be kind of bad if I ran one, I'd draw into my one Doom Shaman, and then I'd draw into like an Armageddon Knight. Like, really? You know, you may think that the forms of Yubel in your hand are bad, but really, Doom Shaman is the worst one to get in your hand. Like, if you draw Yubel, you'll be like, oh, okay, well, I got Yubel and Armageddon Knight, well, I'll just summon Armageddon Knight and drop a Doom Shaman, and then Doom Shaman can summon the Yubel from my hand. That's great. But if you draw a Doom Shaman and Armageddon Knight, you're like, what the heck am I sending? Like, I can send the other Doom Shaman, but what's the point, you know? So it's like, Doom Shaman needs to get in the graveyard. Doom Shaman also works well with Black Drago, since I run two. It's not something I go into often. I'll talk more about that when I get to Black Drago. But definitely I like two Doom Shaman because it is a Doom Shaman deck. So assuming that one can be in your hand, it won't be dead if you draw an Armageddon Knight and you can still drop that one. Of course, you gotta have Tinker. The deck is mostly Doom Shaman Tinker, synchroing it up like you can call it like a Shaman Vice deck. I guess you can go with that. You know how like Gigaplant had Giga Vice. This deck has Doom Shaman with Super Vice, so you summon Tinker and then you sync for 8 a lot. But of course, you can't have a deck without Doom Shaman summoning the best fiend, which in my opinion is Yubel. I love Yubel, and I can never have a deck without her. But we're only going to run one of each since it's not a deck based on Yubel, so it's not as important. Generally, I run two Yubels because it's like just like Doom Shaman, you assume that you can have one in your hand and one in your deck. So it's like if you draw Yubel and you draw an Armageddon Knight, it's like, oh, that's okay. Well, I'll just Armageddon Knight, send the other Yubel, and then set my Limit Reverse. But since this deck does not play Limit Reverse, it's not as important anymore. So, you know, just want to keep the consistency with the deck. So, one of each Yubel is perfectly fine. It's, like I said, it's not a Yubel deck, so you don't have to really worry about Yubel. Yubel is kind of like just a support card in this deck. This deck is about Doom Shaman. Of course, we got our Summoner Monk, the new guy. I did a video about it in Kakashikyle's Mastering Yubel episode 2, link in the description, and I talked about how good Summoner Monk is, you know? Especially because this deck runs a lot of spells, like 23 spells, that's as much as like Prophecy, you know? Lots of spells in a Yubel deck. Even like a regular Yubel deck, you know? And then, I know you guys, some of you are like, well, I'm scared to pitch a spell, you know? Summoner Monk pitched Foolish and summon Armageddon Knight. So there's your Foolish. So you got it anyway. Most of the time I pitch like stuff like Pot of Diwali. It's like, oh, I'm planning on special summoning, so I might as well pitch this Pot of Diwali because I'm planning on special summoning. And special summon Armageddon Knight or Greffer, and then send a Dark to the graveyard, then XC, and then make Lava Chain, and then set another one. So it's like a 2-for-1 special. Summoner Monk is also an easy play into Dagu's Emerald. So I'll go into Dagu's Emerald later in there. And I know this isn't a Yubel deck, but keep in mind that since the deck doesn't have Limit Reverse, but usually Yubel decks do have Limit Reverse. Look at Summoner Monk's attack, 800. So, you know, Limit Reverse, Summoner Monk, pitch a spell, summon, and then exceed for what? Emerald? Emerald detach summon Doom Shaman summon Tinker, sync for 8. You just made a Limit Reverse into a Swing of Memories with Summoner Monk. So good, so good. Like, I am glad that I decided to start running him. Like, he's third right now. Like, he's up there now. Of course, you can't have a deck without Armageddon Knight and Dark Grepher. I know some of you guys don't like to run the maximum amount, but I do, because I need to get that consistency. There's been a handful of times where I get a crappy hand. You see that I don't run many monsters, so I need to be as consistent as possible. So I need triple Armageddon Knight and triple Dark Grepher. I mean, their job is to send, what, 2, 3? Yeah. Doom Shaman, Tinker, and Yubel to the graveyard as soon as possible, so I can start going into my plays. If you draw them after that, that's perfectly fine, because at least they're still playable monsters, so it's not like they're really bad. So, for consistency means I run 3 of each. I mean, if I could run 3 Doom Shaman, I totally would. So, I run as much as I can just to make sure that the deck is consistent as possible. Of course, I don't want to run Mystic Tomato. I hate Mystic Tomato. I mean, it served its purpose back in its time, but now it's just way too obvious. The game is way too fast for Mystic Tomato, you know? You're like, oh, I'm gonna set in a Mystic Tomato, and then Winter Dragons are gonna be like, make a Draco Sack and pop it? So it's kind of like really dumb. So it's like, too slow, too slow. So, this is my monster lineup, 14 monsters. I know, you would think that, like, that's not enough monsters, but you got cards like Foolish and Rhoda and Poduality and stuff like that, and just keep the deck going. So, sometimes you get bad hands, but that's just Yubel deck for you, but, the deck is fairly consistent, and like I said, it's one of my favorite ones. Alright, we're going to the spells. Of course, we got the 5 staples of Yubel deck. Darkhold, Monsterborn Heavy, the trio, of course. You know, some people are stop running Darkhold, and they're just like, what's the point of running Darkhold? And, oh, you got a Darkhold and Terra Incarnate. Well, you know what? Darkhold is never necessarily a bad card, you know? I mean, it's not like I'm always going to be ahead of my opponent. You know, I could get a crappy hand, my opponent summons a whole bunch of monsters, kind of kill on button, it's just like, oh, Darkhold, start it with a clean slate. So Darkhold is always good. Always heavy, all the time, because, you know, hate the Backrow. I'm about to get into the Backrow. Monsterborn. Most of the time, I revive my cards, like my Doom Shaman, summon my Tinker, sync for my 8, but, you know, sometimes I'll be a jerk and grab a monster, like I'm doing his 6 Samurais that kill Xian. Sure, I'll revive a Xian. It's kind of like a Void Ogre anyway, so sure, I'll take it. And of course, Rhoda, for consistency means Rhoda, because you're running 6 Warriors, 3 Armageddon, 3 Dark Grepher, so you need to make sure that you get into your hand, so it's never a bad card, because you can always add more, so that's great. 2 Podualities, it went down to 2. Wish I could run 3, I probably would. But, you know, sometimes Poduality sucks, because, you know, sometimes you draw 2, or sometimes you Poduality and reveal a Poduality, so it's a waste of a reveal, but the deck is slow. It's a Yubel deck. It's fairly slow, so I definitely recommend that you run Poduality. Poduality is actually the reason that sparked the fire in me making more Yubel decks. Like, I worked on Yubel decks for 5 years since Yubel came out. I've been working on Yubel, and I kind of went into a slump where I was just like, the deck is too inconsistent. I can't get it right. I don't know what to do. And then Poduality came out, and I was just like, wow, like that could really help me. Like just seeing the next 3 cards, you know, that would be so great. But that was when Poduality was super expensive. Like Rin was only super rare. Then as soon as I got reprint as super rare, I bought me 3. Then it went down to 2, and I was like, okay, I can still play with 2. The deck will still be okay. But to this day, I'm still tinkering with various Yubel decks and just trying to be better. I recently topped in my locals with a Yubel deck, and I'm getting kind of famous for it at my locals. Like, people are talking about it, they're like, I got beat by Yubel deck, and they're like, yeah, did you get beat by D, or did you get beat by Yubel? It's like, yeah, I did. And it's just like, yeah, I'm getting really popular with the Yubel deck, and I'm glad that people are realizing that Yubel's not a bad card. It's actually a really good card. It's a really good anti-meta card. Yubel really doesn't have any weaknesses, you know? If you can defeat Ophion, you could probably top. I mean, Prophecy might give you a little hard time, but depending on how you handle the fates and stuff, you can summon more Yubels than they can summon High Priestess, so you can definitely outpower them. So, I definitely recommend that you guys just make a Yubel deck and you know what? Make this Yubel deck. This Yubel deck is fairly budget. No, it's not. I scratched that. It has Lances. Put Lemon Reverses in. Take the Lances out, put Lemon Reverses in, and take this Yubel deck to, like, your locals, and you could probably top with it. I guarantee it, because this deck is fairly good. So I'm gonna stop getting off topic and get right into it. Backrow, hate for days. 4 days. This deck goes really in with its plays, you know? Like, I'm using my normal summon. I'm definitely leaning on Doom Shaman. I can't have Doom Shaman getting bottomless or even compulsed. I need him in the graveyard. So if you want to warning him, that's fine. At least he's in the graveyard, but bottomless, no. Compulsed, hell no. Because then he's really hard to get back out of my hand, and it's just... so I need to have that background hate. So you got the MSTs and the Lances and the Heavy Storm. Like, F you and your back row, I gotta go through with my plays. Ain't nobody got time for what you're trying to do. So, forget you. So, back row hate 4 days. We got Silent Doom and Swing of Memories. They summon a normal monster. Like, I was confusing so many people on the levels with this. Like, I was like, Silent Doom or Swing of Memories, summon a normal monster for my graveyard? And they're like, what normal monster? And I was like, Doom Shaman. They're like, what? And I show it to them. They're like, oh, he's a Gemini. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, use my normal summon for effect. And they're like, wait, he's 6 stars. Don't you have a tribute? I'm like, nope, that's not how Geminis work. So, use my normal summon to get his effect. Is that okay? They're like, yeah, that's fine. Summon Tinker. And they're just like, Tinker? Like, they look at Tinker and they're like, this card's bad. And I'm just like, because he syncs with 6 for 8 for Doom Shaman to summon something that's 8 star. And they're just like, oh my god. And it's just like, that plays really good. I'm like, yeah, it is. And now, 1 card synchro is just really good. So, definitely, I'm glad that Silent Doom got reprinted in, I believe, the Gemini structure deck, because this used to be just a Gladiator's Assault secret rare. I think even now the card is still like $40 secret rare. It was like $120 when it first came out, and it was just like, this will work so good with Doom Shaman, but it's just like, I can't afford that. So it got reprinted as a common structure deck. Now you can get it for 20 cents. So besides the Lances, so if you take out the Lances, put in Limit Verse, like I said, this deck will be very budget, and you can top with it. I guarantee it. Of course, you got Swing of Memories, a card that's been there from the beginning. I prefer Swing of Memories over Silent Doom, because at least I can still attack with the Doom Shaman. If I revive with Silent Doom, it's in defense position, it cannot attack. So, it doesn't matter if it's defense position, I can't attack, because I'm probably going to summon Tinker and sync with it anyway, so I'm going to create a brand new monster that can attack. So, it doesn't even matter. The card that definitely sparked the idea of making this deck Supervise, because Supervise is so broken with Doom Shaman, and it can create an OTK. Think about it like this. Swing for Doom Shaman, right? Supervise, equip it to a Gemini monster, and it gains its effect. So you now have the effect of Doom Shaman to summon a Fiend from your graveyard. So summon Tinker. Then you sync for 8. Now the way that this card goes is that when the face-up card is sent to the graveyard, you can then select a normal monster. So the way that this card is worded, you can select the Doom Shaman that was sent to the graveyard when you sync for 8. So you can go Supervise, summon Tinker, sync for 8, and then Supervise effect. Well, and then Tinker, I think it's Tinker effect, Supervise chain. So, you would summon your Doom Shaman with Supervise, and then Tinker would see the top card, and you put it top and bottom. So, if you open up with a whole bunch of Supervises, you can just OTK the crap out of somebody with this card. Like, you can just be like, Swing, Doom Shaman, Supervise, summon Tinker, sync for Void Ogre, Supervise, summon Doom Shaman, Supervise, summon Tinker, sync for another Void Ogre, Supervise, summon Doom Shaman, Supervise, summon Tinker, sync for 8, summon for Black Madralo, and then Supervise would summon your Doom Shaman for the last time. Then you can use Doom Shaman's normal summon for the effect, use your normal summon for the effect, summon Tinker, and then sync for 8 again. So 4 synchros in 1 turn. Oh my god, if card were saved for turn wasn't banned, this deck would be exploiting the crap out of it. Like, you'd be drawing so much, but that card is obviously banned for obvious reasons. So, Supervise just really good and it gives you an OTK, something that someone would think with a Yubel deck you would never get, because people are like, well, Yubel deck is all bark and no bite. It's like, that's not necessarily true, because now since you can Doom Shaman Synchro, or SogekiPhoenix and stuff like that, Yubel decks with the combination of other cards can definitely have some bite, so people have to definitely look out for it. We run 1 tech Hidden Armory. This is a suggestion by Kakashikyle. Link is in the description. In the previous deck, I think I was running 2 and it was being a bad card, and he was like, you should run 1. And I was like, you know what, yeah. So I had 1 card extra, and I was like, what can I put in here? Oh, Hidden Armory is so good. So, you send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, so sometimes you mill something good, sometimes you mill something bad. Like, I think I used it, I milled off Tinker, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, Tinker's in the graveyard now, that's great. And you search for an equipped spell. You can't normal summon or set during the turn, so it's kind of a slow card, but, you know, sometimes you're not even doing it, so you can Hidden Armory, get your Supervise. They'll swing, okay, summon Doom Shaman, well, still have a normal summon, Hidden Armory, give Doom Shaman his effect, summon Tinker, still have a normal summon, sync for 8, summon this 8, and then Supervise, summon your Doom Shaman. Now, you can't use your normal summon, so you can't use your normal summon to summon Tinker again, once again, but, you know, supervised hidden armory. I just searched my supervised, so really good. And just traps, you know, just call it the hunt. It's one of the things that makes this good. Really, I mean, this deck really good is not it's not susceptible to cards like Heavy Storm and MST since you don't run a lot of Backrow. So those cards come pretty much dead in your opponent's deck. So dead draws. You know, sometimes you have Yubel in the graveyard, and if you do start to call and do MST it, you know, you summon Yubel, destroy it, and summon Terror, or summon Tinker and see the top card. So, just wanted some more revival, something that can revive something that's not, Doom Shaman. So, you can revive Armageddon Knight, or you can revive Dark Grapher, or you can revive Yubel. So, this is pretty much the main deck. Runs 40 cards. I definitely recommend that you try it out. If you can't afford the lances, take out 3 lances and put in 3 limit reverse. And take this deck to your locals, and I guarantee that you can do well with it. Now, I'm going to go through the extra deck, and I'm going to try to switch up some cards to try to make the extra deck a little bit more budget, since I understand that not everybody can afford these cards. So, got your Black Drago. He's $1. You can probably pick him up. People don't even like him. He's really good. He is the go-to synchro. Like his first effect, I rarely use, but you can discard a Gemini to select a spell, trap your opponent controls, and destroy it. So you can, if you have Doom Shaman in your hand, I mean you only run 2, so you can. Sometimes I do it where I'll pitch Doom Shaman and pop a card. And his effect that's really good is when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can select one Gemini monster in your graveyard, special summon it with its effect. So sometimes I'll be like, I'll synchro summon for like Black Widow, and they'll be like Solemn Judgment or Solemn Warning. Like, okay, that's fine. You destroy and send to the graveyard. Summon Doom Shaman with its effect. Doom Shaman use your effect. Summon Tinker and sync for another Black Widow. Thanks for paying 2,000 to half your life points just to do nothing. So definitely the go-to guy. Just because when he's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, just get a Doom Shaman with its effect. So really good. Void Ogre, this deck, sometimes you just don't have any cards in your hand, so what better guy to go into when you have no cards in your hand than the jerk that's stronger than a Shien, Void Ogre. So when you have no cards in your hand, you can, once per turn you can negate, during either player's turn, you can negate a spell or trap. So he's just like a Shien, except stronger, like 3,000 attack, 3,000 D. I think he has the best stats for an 8-star synchro. So really good. So I only recommend running 2 because 3 gets kind of filling for your extra deck. You really don't need to run 3. 2 is enough. Like if you can't like negate and neg them so much with 2, then I guess they just have a lot of spells and traps. But 2 is generally what I like to run. I like to run 2 scraps because sometimes scrap can pop, like double scrap. Like people don't expect double scrap, they expect 1, and then they'll do something and you just summon the second scrap, and they're just like, oh crap, and you pop another thing and it's just like, oh my god. A combo that I like to do is scrap with Black Drago, because you know scrap can pop Black Drago, pop on your opponent's cards, and the Black Drago will summon Doom Shaman with effect to summon Tinker, and then you can sync summon for another Black Drago, a sync summon for another scrap, and of course Radiant Scrap combo. It's one of my favorite combos. I can't wait for this card to come out in TCG because I'm going to get it as soon as possible, guaranteed, because the combo is really well. I'll get into that for a second. Another thing this thing can do is turn Yubel from Bark to Bite. Like, you can sit there with a Terra Incarnate and they'll stop playing cards because they'll be like, oh, he's not going to do anything, I can just wait, and all of a sudden you just like, scrap, pop my Terra Incarnate, pop one of your Backrow, and then summon Ultra Nightmare, and Ultra Nightmare attack your face down monster and attack you with scrap. So I turned the field from sitting on a Terra Incarnate by itself to an Ultra Nightmare and Scrap Dragon with just a Swing of Memories or a Silent Doom with 1 card. So definitely turning it around and just kicking their butt. So Scrap is definitely one of my favorite cards, and I just like it too. You run the Crimson Blader, the jerk who puts some decks into check, you know, especially like Monarchs and stuff, Elemental Dragons, just like, he's 28, he's really strong. So when he destroys your opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, they cannot normal summon or special summon level 5s or higher the next turn. So you can definitely lock down decks like Frog Monarchs and stuff like that, or for like a turn, because you know Crimson Blader just keeps them in check. His stats are really good, 28, 26, so he can run over the strongest monsters and just keep your opponent in check. We have the one Stardust. he can turn Terra Incarnate into an Ultimate Nightmare by negating Terra Incarnate's effect during the end phase. So Terra Incarnate would try to wipe the field, and you can be like, Stardust, negate my Terra Incarnate, and then he'll summon Ultimate Nightmare. So you have a Stardust and Ultimate Nightmare. It's not a play that I do often, but it's still a good play. And you know, Stardust is never a bad 8 synchro, so you know, he's getting kind of expensive, but you know, I'll talk about tech choices when I'm done. And then you got the Stardust Radiance. When this card comes out, I definitely get it. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can target a face-up card, and it can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects. So, definitely a good combo with Terra Incarnate. So you have Terra Incarnate, you summon Radiance, you attack them. Then during the end phase, you can have Radiance negate to be destroyed. It's negate, so it won't be destroyed by Terra Incarnate during the end of the turn. So you can pretty much just wipe the field except for Terra Incarnate Radiance, and it's really good. Or like I said, you can go in a Scrap Radiance combo where Scrap Dagger will target Radiance and then target one of your opponent's cards, and then you can just chain Radiance. So pretty much you're just popping one of your opponent's cards for free. So really good. So when this card comes out, definitely gonna get it because it just combos really well with Yubel. We got the Gem Knight Pearl. Gem Knight Pearl is good because it can't be Phoenix Chained. It's 26. It gets over the attack barrier, so it can run over like a Problem Stardust. And another card that can definitely run over is a Problem Ophion. Since Ophion is 25-50, you just run over by 50. Haha, I beat you by 50. How does it feel to be beat by 50, Ophion? So definitely recommend that you guys run this. We got Shockmaster. This deck can go into Shockmaster. There's been a handful of times, so I'll be like, Summoner Monk, pitch a spell, summon Armageddon Knight, then I'll have like a level 5 or higher Dark, and then Greffin, and just pitch special, and then just make a Shockmaster and be a jerk, and just electrocute the crap out of them with a Shockmaster. So, I think he's like $3, because he got reprint, so definitely recommend you play that. Now, the card that might be expensive and hard to get, Diamond Direwolf. The reason why I like Diamond Direwolf is because he's a guaranteed Ophion kill. Okay, let me explain how he's a guaranteed Ophion kill. Alright, you summon Diamond Direwolf, right? Now, if you use your effect and detach, you target their Ophion and then you target your beast. So, if they try to activate Safe Zone or they try to activate Dress, they're already targeted, so they would be destroyed anyway. Right? So it doesn't matter if they do that. If they try to preemptively activate Safe Zone on the Ophion, you could just target the Safe Zone and destroy it, and then they would destroy Ophion. If they try to preemptively activate Dress, they would lose 600 attack, making them 1950, and making Diamond Direwolf 50 stronger than them, so they would just run right over them. So, you know, Diamond Direwolf is a guaranteed Ophion kill, but I understand that not everybody can afford them. So, if you can't afford a Diamond Direwolf and you're trying to make this deck, just put in another Gem Knight Pro. Kakashikyle stated that 2 Gem Knight Pros is good, because, you know, he's been test playing against Evil Swarms, and he's saying that there's been a handful of times that just another Gem Knight Pro would have just done it for him. So definitely recommend that if you can't afford a Diamond Direwolf, that you run another Gem Knight Pro. We got Maestroke. Maestroke is the go-to XC. You know, he's like a Book of Moon, and if he'd be destroyed, you can just detach it as a high D. So definitely recommend that if you've got nothing better to go into for a rank 4 XC, I definitely recommend that you just make Maestroke, because he can just last on the field for a while, and he's really good. Chain, now he's a little bit expensive, but out of all the cards that I definitely recommend that you get your hands on immediately, it would be Chain, because Chain helps with the consistency. You know, there'll be a handful of times where I'll just like discard Special Summon a Greffer, normal summon Armageddon Knight, send, and then make a Chain, and then send another one. So, it's like a 2-for-1 special, and I've never used his second effect to put him on the top of the deck, because this deck doesn't reflect it in that, but just sending a card from your deck to the graveyard is just so good, because you can just, once again, it's like another Foolish. So, definitely recommend that. Out of all the cards that you should throw your money at, I definitely recommend it to be level with Chain. And we got Daigusto Emerald. Emerald's expensive, he's slowly creeping up in price, and he's good because most people use him for his first effect to, you know, he's kind of like a mini Paragraph, but I've never used that effect. His second effect, to target a non-effect monster in graveyard, special summon it. Doom Shaman counts. Yeah, I looked up the rule, and Doom Shaman counts. So you can just summon the Emerald, detach, and summon a Doom Shaman from your graveyard. So good. He might be a little bit harder to get. He was a more recent card, so I can understand if you can't afford one of him. I actually have one secret. I'm looking to get one DT, so if any of you guys have a DT one that you're willing to like trade me or something, I'm definitely willing to trade something for it, or pay the difference, because I really want a DT Emerald, because it'll match my DT chain, because I have a DT level chain and I have a secret Emerald, and they look ugly together, because they should be the same rarity. So pretty much I'm just gonna switch the deck around right now to make it budget for you guys. So I understand that not everybody can get Forbidden Lances. So instead of running Forbidden Lances, just make the deck really budget. Let's throw in some Limit Reverse. 8-cent card. There you go. This card's not out yet, and this card is kind of expensive. So instead, we're gonna run another Black Drago because Black Drago is always good. We're gonna run another Emerald Gem. I think it's Hyphen. Yeah. Another Emerald, and since not everybody can afford an Dagusto Emerald, I don't really like Utopia, so we're probably gonna go with another Crimson Blader, since Crimson Blader is never bad. I know Kakashikyle likes to run 2 Crimson Bladers, so there you go. There's a budget version of this deck. It's budget that I can make it and keep it fine in fine condition. So definitely, if you want to make this deck and take it to your locals, here's a really good Yubel deck that I definitely recommend that you try out because it's really good. Even though it's not really a Yubel deck, it's more of a Doom Shaman deck, but still, it still gets the job done. Well, now since I put the Limit Reverses back in, I guess it kind of is a Yubel deck. So go ahead and try it out for yourselves and see how you guys like it. So this is the end of this Shaman King deck profile. Like I said, I'll probably be using this deck some more before I start on the next deck. And of course, we have some more videos with tag duels with Kakashikyle and such. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll return back to our regular scheduled everyday Vitamin Y. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and thank you for all the support. I'm glad that you guys love me so much, and I'm creeping up on some more and more subscribers. You know, next thing I know, I'll probably be doing that 400 sub special, so definitely looking forward to that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Now you're talking. Hey,